And we are now at Fire Station 13, and the rescue has just gotten a call, so they are heading out. This is over in Pico-Union, Koreatown area. And we'll show, and there they go. So they're off. We're with Engine 13, and we are in Koreatown. All right, and we're gonna go in here, and the captain at this station is Captain Dan Will, and we're gonna let him show you around his station.
Thanks for the mic. Hi everybody, I'm Captain Dan Will here at Fire Station 13, here with Miss Margaret Stewart, going to show you guys around our station a little bit, so come and follow me. So Margaret just showed you we're an extremely busy fire company here, and you know, resources going in and out of the fire station all day long. So let me show you where we congregate when we're not going on calls, is here in the kitchen. And you guys could see nobody's in here right now, but it's a place where everybody now socially distance themselves, but we cook and have lunch and dinner in here, and this is where we spend some of our time. You follow me over here a little bit to the day room. The day room doesn't get used as a TV room too much. It gets used as a training center, really, where our younger members on the job give drills and proficiency exercises to kind of show us what they've been learning and how they can be an effective member of the fire crew. So, and this pool table right here is the Fire Station 13 staple. So, yep, absolutely. So, follow me over here to the station's kind of large and confusing here, all chopped up, but this is what we call the light apparatus bay. And this light apparatus bay is where the battalion chief, Battalion 11, which we're part of here at Fire Station 13, is staffed, and this is his command vehicle here. And over here you could see this is where we are getting a lot of supplies for the COVID-19 pandemic that we got going on right here. So this is where all the battalion companies come and get restocked on everything. So first behind the scene look of that. Let me see here. Everybody's out on calls right now, but we got the front door, which we often get just people coming up for what we call a still alarm. They come up to the front of the fire station and have an issue, and yeah, we may not be toned out, so we let our dispatch know what we're on and we put ourselves on a call. So that happens quite often too. But here's just some computers here. We do a lot of online training, just like a lot of you guys do at home, and the firefighters are responsible to not only do their stuff out here on the rigs, but responsible for all the online training as well. So follow me over to my office here. So as you can see, this is a captain's office. Not too much different, but there's a lot of things that go on in a daily that need to get done at the fire station to make it run properly. Hiring, notifications, phone calls, so on and so forth. So just like any other office out there, we got a lot of things on our plate to do daily. So we do share this fire station with the battalion office, as we showed you over there, and they're probably in a meeting here, but I kind of wanted to show you guys, you know, there's never really a dull moment here. This is Chief Flores and his command staff still at work, working vigorously, you know, amid the COVID-19 pandemic. If you want to say hi, Chief Flores, to all your LAFD followers out there.
Sure. Okay, so anyway, good afternoon. Welcome to Battalion 11 Headquarters, Fire Station 13. A little bit about us, and this is going out to the public, correct? So a little bit about us is Battalion 11 is responsible for 6 fire stations. We basically cover from Figueroa to Crenshaw Boulevard on the west, south to about Adams Boulevard, and then north up to Melrose. We're responsible for anything that happens, both emergency and non-emergency, in those boundaries. So I don't know if that helps kind of lay it out for you, but that's in a nutshell.
Tell followers, like what do you do if you have a structure fire? What's the role of a battalion chief?
So my role at a structure fire, I would become the incident commander. So I would relieve whatever resource is in charge at that time, and I would be responsible for any tactical and or strategic decisions to resolve the issue. So basically I would assume command on anything that happens within the battalion.
All right, thanks, Chief.
Oh, you're very welcome.
And then the most important part of the Chief's command is the emergency incident technician, and this is Firefighter Eric French. Can you just tell us what your role is? Because not all departments have a similar role.
Sure. My role is to assist the chief with the command and control and the tracking of resources at an emergency incident. So we want to maintain that accountability of all of our companies in case that we have an emergency within the incident. One of our firefighters is injured or gets lost, that we know where everybody is, and we can also track the incident progression, make sure we're on track. And I'm also just a good second pair of ears for him because during an incident we have a lot of radio channels going, and so it helps to have another pair of ears listening to make sure that we don't miss any important messages.
Great, thank you. All right, we're going to go back to Captain Will, and he's going to take us out onto the apparatus floor. Thank you.
Just for the record, he is the most important.
I'm going to repeat what he just said. He said he is the most important part of this whole operation here. Thanks, Chief. All right.
So there's a view of the battalion office, and as we come outside here to the apparatus floor, we got our engineer here, Robbie Jackson, working on what are called our weekly checks. They're normally done on Mondays, and in the fire department, or Los Angeles Fire Department, they're called Monday checks. And right now he's checking out everything on the rig to make sure it's mechanically operating correctly and that there's no problems that need to be noted or reported and or fixed. So right now he's working with the other two probationary members and teaching them some of the important things that go along with maintaining a large piece of apparatus like this. So as the camera kind of pans up, you could see that they're underneath the cab. This cab hydraulically pushes up 14 feet up into the air, and you can see we're inside the fire station right now, so we barely make it there. So we could stay out of the heat today on a 90-degree day and get all this preventive maintenance done, inside the shade here. So,
Captain, well, we've had some questions. People are asking, how do you become a captain in the LAFD? Can you talk to that?
Did you say how do you become? Well, I think there's a lot of different paths to becoming a captain on the LAFD. I think you have to have a little bit of experience in the seat. I think it takes you have to have 5 years at least to take a captain's promotional exam. But there's pretty much a 4-step process. It's a written test, consists of 100 multiple choice questions that come out of our entire library, and then there's three or four different interviews with the city and with the fire chief and some of the other chief officers and captains, and then they place you on a list and promote you depending on how you came out on that list. So if any of you listeners out there have any questions right now for any of our probationary members, how many firefighters at our station? We have, let me see here, we have an 800, which I think you guys saw just a little bit ago leave. That's a BLS resource. That's 2 firefighters. We have 2 paramedics. We have these 2 firefighters on the engine. So an engineer and a captain. So there's a total of, 8 of us here, plus the battalion chief, his driver, and then there's an EMS captain who's staffed here as well. So for a total of 11 individuals that work at this in particular station, and there's 33 of us total because there's 3 different platoons of 11 different people.
And can you talk about, this is a triple house versus a task force where we
saw trucks? So if a lot of you guys were watching Instagram Live earlier with Task Force 27, the difference between a task force and a single engine house, a task force is composed of a truck company followed by a pump and an engine company. Here we're called a single engine company because we drive one engine here, which is 4 people on it: a captain, myself, the engineer, and 2 firefighters. They call it a triple because it's consistent of hose, water, and we are in charge of putting water on the fire here. We don't have a truck company, so that's the difference between a triple and a task force.
Can we transition to the company?
Yeah, absolutely. So, hey, Robbie, can I interrupt you? I think there might be a couple questions here for some of the rookies. Theo or Jimmy, do you guys want to answer some questions here? Sure, absolutely.
All right, so first I'll have you introduce yourself, and then we'll hit you with some questions. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
Perfect. My name is probationary firefighter James May, one of the firefighters here at Fire Station 13.
I'm probationary firefighter Krzwicki, and I'm stationed at 13s.
And we'll also introduce our engineer here. He's on his first shift at 13s.
My name is Robbie Jackson. I'm an engineer here at Fire Station 13, and it's my first day at this fire station. Happy to be here.
Perfect.
All right, you let people want to know, what did you do to prepare to get, like, what kind of things did you do to prepare for the hiring
Sure,
process?
absolutely. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. A lot of the times that people talk about like experience that you need to have. A lot of us either worked ambulances or in some form of a healthcare job. As a healthcare worker, and some of us did wildland firefighting. That was happened to be the choice I did. I did about 3 seasons or so with wildland. And then beyond that, once I began the process through LA City Fire Department, I started practicing interviews, not only with my friends who were also going through the process, but also by visiting the fire stations and throughout the city of Los Angeles, coming to South Bureau or staying in the Valley and asking questions there about their districts and everything that they could answer for me. And then beyond that, just keeping my record clean, making sure not getting in trouble with anything, and staying educated. I went to school for it as well. I went to Oxnard College for firefighting and got my degree in fire technology there, and continue to further my education to help improve my chances in completing the process.
What did you find the most challenging part of the drill tower?
The most challenging part of the drill tower is definitely going to be the physical aspect of it. It's very challenging. It's very demanding, what we do day in, day out, and realistically the drill tower, it sets a good beginning or a good opening to what we really do on actual incidents. So I definitely think it was the hardest part is being there, 4 days a week or so, and then the physical side of it, being able to challenge yourself every day with either the mentors and the cadre there, and even challenging yourselves between your other classmates.
And then what do you think, what's the one piece of advice you would give someone before their first shift? They're going to show up to their first shift. What would you tell them?
If they're going to show up to their first shift, I tell this to people that I'm friends with that are just going through the process. The biggest thing, honestly, is having a good attitude. If you're willing to work and put in the work like you have, when you already put in so much work going through the process and going to the tower, just maintain that good attitude. And honestly, if you do that, Cap can attest to that. If you show up with a good attitude and you're willing to work and do everything that you can to help and better yourself and better others around you, that's going to be the best thing for you by far.
All right, great. Thank you.
Of course.
All right, so you can see here, engineer is working with the rookies. This is how it works. You learn and then you teach. So we all need to know the basics on all of the apparatus. They get what's called certified. And we'll talk to Captain Will a little bit about what that means and why is it important for his firefighters to all be certified on the engine.
Okay. So I think Margaret wants me to touch on certification. Certification is pretty much a process for each one of our members to become proficient at another job on this fire engine. So for instance, these probationary firefighters right now learning the job of the engineer, eventually they'll go through a certification, a list of different steps and drills and being able to prove that they can do the engineer job if the occasion arises that they need to step into the seat and work as an engineer at some point in time. So all younger members, as they develop they really are required to become certified, whether it be on a triple or a fire truck. And yeah, I hope that kind of answers it for you.
Can you explain what a typical work schedule is like, our 24-hour shifts, how that works?
Yeah, absolutely. As I mentioned earlier, there's 3 different platoons, the A shift, the B shift, and the C shift, and we each are required to work 24 hours a day. So the best way I always explain it is we work a day, we're off, we work a day, we're off, we work a day, and then we're off for 4 days. So in a 9-day period, we work 3 24-hour shifts. And that doesn't account for the overtime and the other hours that these men and women put into the job. So that's kind of the typical, what they call a Kelly schedule that we use here on the LAFD.
All right, so we want to thank you for joining us for this segment. We're as I mentioned earlier, if you didn't catch it, we're at Fire Station 13, Pico-Union, Koreatown area, and we're going to be back with more, so stay tuned. Be safe.